You're listening to the music of 2011 with Richard Kingsmill, Triple J.
Richard Kingsmill with you. In just a moment, I'm going to chat to the guys from the Greenhornes. The American band is here, back in the country. They're doing the Big Days Out, which I think when they were here about 4 or 5 years ago was what they were here for back then as well. But they've got a brand new album out. This is like the first new studio album, full-length studio album in about 8 years for the American trio. The trio being Craig Fox, Jack Lawrence and Patrick Keeler. Jack Lawrence and Patrick Keeler over the last few years have been busy with the Raconteurs, stroke the Saboteurs. And also Jack Lawrence has been playing with another one of those Jack White bands, the Dead Weather. This new album for the Greenhornes has come out on Third Man Records, which is the label set up by Jack White. So we'll talk about the influence of Jack and sort of hanging out with him and what effect that's had on the Greenhornes in just a moment when we get to chat to them. Okay, on Triple J, Jack Lawrence and Craig Fox from the Greenhornes. Welcome into Triple J. Thanks for coming in.
Well,
you must have had, Craig, you must have had a hell of a lot of songs banked up because this is the first full-length Greenhornes record in about 8 years.
Yeah.
You guys weren't working, you know, alongside each other for a good 5 years or so leading up to this record. You must have had a stack of songs.
yeah, I had a lot to choose from, what to do or whatever.
Can you estimate how many? How many ideas and how many fragments of songs and all that sort of stuff?
From like that time period, maybe 20 or 30.
Oh, okay.
Not a whole bunch, but
Yeah. The period off, do you think that that's, you know, done wonders for the band in terms of making this record? Did it feel any different when you got back into the studio and started laying down this material?
Maybe a little at first, but this was the first record that we kind of wrote in the studio, so it was a little different then. We had a few songs that we had been playing, but most of it was in the studio, so that was kind of a little different for us, a different approach.
So, Jack, you didn't really get much of a chance to try this stuff out on stage beforehand?
No. So we
a
had,
couple of the songs.
yeah, a few of them, but most of it was just Craig would bring something in that we hadn't really heard and just kind of went with it.
In the past, you've been able to play it in front of audiences then to see if it works.
Yeah.
Did that make the decision-making process harder?
I kind of liked it because it was just to do something different. Instead of having these songs beat to death, you're playing them for the first time. The less I've played it, the more fun I have recording it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you had, you could sort of feed off the spontaneity a bit more in the studio.
Yeah.
And it's better for arranging. Once you get kind of stuck into that song, you know, once you play it out live.
Yeah.
And you can't really hear it a different way sometimes.
I was going to ask you about that, Jack, because there's some really interesting kind of arrangements that are going on within some of these songs and some really nice wig-out moments where, you know, there'll be an organ solo or a guitar solo or a drum pattern will come or there'll be a slowdown of tempo. So you reckon that's a kind of a direct result of being able to do this stuff in the studio as opposed to taking it out on stage?
Yeah, like Cave Drawings is one that kind of like really changes a lot, and the arrangement on that. And
so we got to play, well, just that story for the song, we were doing different takes of it, had a cigarette break, and I think somebody said, let's do the next one caveman style. And we just did, that's the one that was the take.
like with more like tribal drumming and yeah.
What about a track like Underestimator as well? Because, you know, you listen to the chords at the beginning of that track and it's a kind of a classic sound. When you come up with a chord progression like that, how do you avoid making it sound like a million other songs that have been written with those kind of progressions?
Make them minor.
Not major. Does that make much of a difference?
Yeah, I think it like kind of changes it a little bit. Louie sounds a lot different
if you play it with
which is basically that song.
Like the Sonics, they changed one chord in it, and it sounds totally different than like the Kingsmen doing Louie.
Yeah, but when you actually came up, Craig, with that chord progression for that track. I mean, is it hard for you to break out of what you've heard in the past and grown up with as a rock and roll fan? And
well, I kind of want it to be somewhat like that, and then but not sound like a song already, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Avoiding that must be a little bit tricky.
That. I mean, you just try different things, and if you're doing something and you recognize it as something, then you cut it. I don't get rid of that. I mean, I'm sure there's probably something that sounds like something that I don't know of, but try not to make it.
Like everyone has that problem in writing music, and that moment too of, oh man.
Yeah.
But that's what it always has done, though, is that there'll be something that came from something that sounded like something.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different.
I think a lot of people are just realising that and just letting it go as opposed to being too worried about it. I mean, are you guys a bit like that in the studio these days when you're working on stuff?
If it's completely obvious, I'm worried about that. if I hear it and I go, oh, I'm taking that from that song, I try to change it.
Yeah, twist it a little bit. Instead of going up, go down. Who's doing the, it's an organ solo in the middle of Underestimator, isn't it?
Yes.
Who's playing that?
Well, it's a clavinet.
A clavinet?
Yeah.
A type of keyboard instrument?
Yeah.
Who's playing that?
This guy, Andrew Higley. He's from Cincinnati, but he lives in Nashville now.
Okay, all right. Is he playing many of the keyboards on the album?
He plays most of it. I think I played the piano on Sparrow.
Yeah, I played organ on something too. And
but anything that's really good, he did.
Yeah,
yeah, I really
the
like
stuff that's real simple and basic. It's me and Craig.
Yeah, the stuff he's playing on Underestimator, I don't know, I might be off mark here, but it actually brought to mind a lot of the sound of, I think his name was John Lord with Deep Purple. He had kind of like a sound like that anyway. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Like a lead keyboard.
A lead keyboard, yeah, which they did a lot of.
Distorted, overdrive.
Underestimated your effect on me. Or maybe I was too blind to see. In the darkness that clouds my life, you were the only light. I'll spend my days waiting for you. The price I'm paying now is much too high. What more will I sacrifice? All my senses are becoming numb. My life is a setting sun.
You said before you got back into the studio and made this record, but you made it over quite a long period of time, didn't you?
Yeah.
That must have been hard. I always reckon when bands do that, it must be a hard process keeping track of everything.
Yeah, well, the time, if you condensed it to the actual process and the recording, was only probably 3.5 weeks or so. But the time that it took was maybe like around a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
And it is the reason why it got extended out because of, for instance, what you guys have been doing, you and Patrick have been doing, Jack, with the Raconteurs? Is it stuff like that?
Probably, yeah.
And Craig, did you find all of that frustrating?
I don't know, at the time I was kind of sick of touring. That was like 2006. Wanted to take a little time off, so that was fine, but then kind of got longer, but...
Did you worry that the Greenhornes was going to fade away with the more activity that Patrick and Jack were doing?
No, but it kind of got frustrating having it. The album wasn't going to come out anyway, but which didn't have anything to do with that.
Can I take this time on national radio to apologize to Craig for all that?
I wasn't talking about that. I just mean the album. I didn't care, but it just the album, like they said, it just took longer for many reasons to happen.
Yeah.
You know? That was kind of frustrating, but...
There was also a label, disappeared, V2 Records, which kind of took some steam out of whatever we had going.
No, so that had an effect as well, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had just released an EP on that label that we recorded with Brendan Benson in Detroit. So that was going to be a full length, but kind of just wanted to put some out quick. So that was 2005.
And that was supposed to be a full-length album at that point, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it was going to be the follow-up.
Okay, and then the record company Dramas have resulted in you now releasing this through Third Man Records.
Yeah.
So you've, broken ties with a majorish label,
they kind of broke them with us. With everyone, they kind of just fell apart, and everybody had a lot of trouble getting records back from them, and they kind of put everybody through it.
Yeah, right, okay. So the lawyers managed to win the battle for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the end.
So
or maybe they just gave up.
So is it a much more simple and relieving situation now to be on Jack White's label?
Yeah,
Third
definitely. Definitely,
yeah.
Well, we were trying to look for someone else, and really we weren't having too much luck out there. And Jack's just came to us and, well, why don't you just do it on Third Man? Stop being silly, like that kind of thing.
And had he mentioned that before?
No, it just kind of came up, what are you guys going to do with your record? And we're like, well, we're trying to find somebody. And he's like, well, why don't you just put it out on Third Man, It's like, oh, well, that makes sense,
Did you originally think he just wouldn't be interested, or were you trying to avoid having too much of a relationship that way?
Maybe, yeah, a little bit of that. It's just, I wouldn't mind maybe separating the Greenhornes a little bit more. It kind of gets frustrating a little bit to be, I'm sorry, that it puts us in the not Jack or anything, our relationship, but just kind of the media and everyone else kind of puts you in the shadow of Jack White, and we were, a band way before we even met Jack, and it was trying to get away from that a little bit with the Greenhornes, but, it makes sense, and, whatever to everyone else.
Is he conscious of that as a person and a musician?
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit.
I've always thought that a lot of people... Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe he really likes it.
Yeah.
He likes casting a shadow.
Yeah.
You can also look at it, I mean, it's pretty easy to look at it the other way, though, and to kind of go, right, well, the association with him can also bring a lot more people to our...
Yeah,
of course.
which it works both ways, you know, and that's really good, too. I mean, we have crowds now, and we get a few more people there than what we would probably with, you know, just doing it on our own without having been in those bands. And
have you enjoyed the process as well of just playing with a whole bunch of different people? And
I love it, yeah.
As a musician, do you reckon you've changed a lot and grown?
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to take some things away from all those experiences, and it's it's all been great for me. You know, I really enjoy like being busy and having a lot of downtime taken up by other bands. You know, it's a great thing, and a lot of experience in the studios like that I could take with me to other things, which is good.
Yeah,
because we never really went to school or anything to learn recording
how to do anything.
We kind of just stumble upon it and experiment on our own with it. So it's a good thing to be able to see how other people do it. And
yeah. Anyway, I better let you fly. You got more live action to get to for the big days out while you're here for the next couple of weeks. Thanks for coming in so much, Jack Lawrence and Craig Fox from the Greenhornes, and having a chat. Let's go out with one final track from the record. There's actually a couple. Song 13 I really like. That's when I was talking about pace changes. I really like the way that song moves. But why don't we do Jacob's Ladder? Because that one also caught my ear. It comes a little bit later in the album. Is that a true story written about someone you know? seems to be autobiographical or something.
A group of people.
A group of people?
More specifically, a bar with a certain crowd.
Back at home?
Yeah, in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati.
Originally, the song was Jacob's Bladder, but
would it become a comedy song then?
It's gone. The bar's gone now. So.
Okay, all right.
All right. Period in time. This is lost forever.
This is Jacob's Ladder then, based on a somewhat true story from the Greenhornes. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks, Richard.
Trying to forget what you've become.